The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And pretty quiet weather-wise for a change overnight.
Yeah, and so far today, it's the same story. Mainly quiet. We got a few flurries, maybe a few sprinkles, depending on how warm we get this afternoon. In fact, here's a look at how the radar scans are looking right now. And you notice here, there's at least some activity here in the radar. And although I'm showing this right now, the difference maker, which I'll show here in a second, is the humidity near the surface, which is making this snow, which looks pretty prevalent on the radar, actually not really reach the ground. So we look at the current conditions. First off, the temperatures at 29 degrees at Griffith, 32 in Syracuse, 33 Rochester, 26 down in Johnstown. And the dew points here, again, a big reason why. Still very dry air near the surface, so we get some flurries falling, but that'll be mainly focused in those higher elevations up to the north. Wind speeds, a south wind for the most part, at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. That is going to drive temperatures, especially south and in the Mohawk Valley, up above freezing today, bringing the potential for a few sprinkles. Visibility this morning looking pretty clear. So far, we're not tracking any fog right now. So again, heading out the door today, mostly cloudy skies and temperatures pushing near 40. We'll be seeing maybe a sprinkle or two this afternoon, but overall a pretty quiet, uneventful day as we wrap up winter time. And spring is already on our doorstep. It arrives tomorrow. We might have some late March showers, maybe some snow up north, plus the big changes we'll be seeing over the next several weeks when it comes to sunrise and sunset times. We'll show all that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Utica police are investigating a social...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at sunrise. Happy Thursday, everybody. Today we are starting out on the quieter side, but we might have some sprinkles or even some flurries to track in your forecast in a minute. First off, a live look at downtown Utica. Dry roads out there early today. Temperature 29 degrees and east-southeast wind. More southerly winds today is the big story, which is going to be driving in some warmer temperatures. I mean, 2 days ago we had wind chills near 0, and now we'll be pushing near 40 this afternoon. You see here across some local roadways, it's pretty much dry. You should have really no impact getting where you need to go this morning, despite the radar letting up a little bit. And always want to clarify, when we show the radar, it's always just a tool of what we use and never a fact of what's happening. You could see green, blue, pink, you name it on the radar, but if it's not hitting the ground, well, it's not really impacting your day-to-day life. So at least for the day today, it starts out dry. Yes, we will track maybe a few flurries or sprinkles this afternoon as the air gets a bit more saturated, but even then it's not a whole lot. There will be a better shot for heavier rainfall tomorrow, and then milder weather continues this weekend. So as you can see here, maybe a few flurries, some sprinkles this afternoon, otherwise a pretty quiet day today. We have a look at that weekend forecast for you coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Lead Her Ship Summit.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. One day away until spring. That countdown, I think a lot of us are looking forward to. It might not change anything major with the actual weather itself, but it's a milestone nonetheless. Downtown Utica, a quiet scene down there in the city, and temperatures to start your day today in the upper 20s to low 30s. Some elevated snowfall in the radar scans. Not a lot of this reaching the ground right now, but you could be seeing maybe a stray flurry or two over the next few hours. And as you progress throughout the morning, air, as I mentioned, becomes a bit more saturated. Temperatures begin to climb as well into the upper 30s, pushing 40 degrees. So at this point in time in the afternoon, if you see any type of precip, if you're in the Mohawk Valley and south, you might see a sprinkle. Up north, a stray flurry. But again, today is a mainly quiet day. Tonight, we're going to see clouds increase again, and then tomorrow there's a better shot for at least measurable rain. And you can see here pretty moderate at times rainfall rate wise as we head into the afternoon with temperatures in the mid 40s before we're going to be cooling back down again into the 30s, upper 30s by Saturday morning. And then Saturday overall looking pretty quiet, a little cooler to start, pushing near 40 with mostly cloudy skies. So when it comes to rainfall rates, or at least the chance of rain, that is, you can see the highest chance arriving in the early afternoon Friday, and then the chances begin to decrease as we head into the evening, returning again maybe with a snow chance as we head into the early hours on Saturday. So with things mainly quiet, yes, we have some rain here and there, but at least impact-wise, it's very low. Look at the sunrise times as we approach the next month or so. 7:05, the sunrise today. A month from now, 6:12. Looking forward to a near 6 a.m. sunrise. And how about the sunsets? And this is also great news here, too. Well, looks like the dates here have not changed for some reason. But either way, this would be on April 19th. Our time would be 7:48. So we're going to have a huge jump up, too, in how late those sunsets are going to be. So, in the near future, what are we tracking? Well, same story. We've got some weak disturbance after weak disturbance. This jet stream pattern here will be steering these systems into our area. One we're closely watching here is what's arriving in this zone. Our thoughts are it's a mainly rain event with snow to the north, but we'll closely watch this. This arrives as we head into Sunday. So your 7-day forecast, spring arrives tomorrow, and it definitely brings in or ushers in some widespread rain, remaining rather mild this weekend, and then next week it's starting out pretty dry, but on the cooler side in the 30s and low 40s. So no big warm up, but still we're in that limbo period, Gary, where we're just waiting for those seriously warm temperatures to begin to arrive.
Look at the sun, though, next week.
Yeah, I have something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. The congressional stalemate morning once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Well, if you're getting ready for work or getting the kids ready to head to the bus, Eric, it's pretty calm out there this morning.
Yeah, we got quiet weather. Temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s. Here's a look at the radar right now, which might show a bit of a busier scenario, but keep in mind, a lot of this is happening way up above us in the clouds, not really reaching the ground here. So despite what the radar is showing you, what maybe your phone might be telling you right now, it's not snowing heavily out. So keep that in mind in your morning commute. It's pretty quiet out there. We got mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 20s and 30s. Now, the reason why it's not snowing, despite the snow on the radar, that dry air near the surface, around 18 degrees, that dew point. So with that difference in temperature and dew point, nonetheless, the snow is hard to come by. We've got some winds from the south today that'll be influencing our weather pattern to climb into the 40s this afternoon, so a slightly warmer day today. And on top of that, visibility, not too bad out there this morning as well. Not a whole lot of fog or pretty much anything impacting your morning commute really expected. Today's highs, as I mentioned, due to that south wind climbing in the near 40s with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a stray flurry or sprinkle depending on elevation today. We do have some warmer days ahead. Well, warmer kind of relative to what we saw a few days ago. But nonetheless, we got rain and we have a pretty mild weekend ahead. We'll talk about that, plus the latest trends on the daylight when it comes to sunrise and sunset times coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Nearly 3 weeks into the war.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise, everybody, on this final day of winter. Our photo of the day today kind of gives us a rearview mirror look at winter time here locally, which it's been snowy, it's been cold, it's been pretty much everything winter usually has been here in central New York. We were at least accustomed to some warmer winters in years past. Certainly not last year, by the way, but nonetheless, look at this photo right here of Whiteman Farms and their sunrise in Clinton, sent in by Emily. An amazing shot of the vibrant colors there in the morning sky with the contrast of the dark blues and the dark whites of the snowfall across the area. So let this be the send-off of our winter photo season. Now, as we enter tomorrow, we'll be in our spring category. Now, to be fair, it won't quite feel exactly like spring, or at least spring-like photos might not exist maybe for until a month from now with all the greenery still waiting to bloom. But nonetheless, we've enjoyed the winter photo season so far, and here's the springtime. If you have a photo like that you'd like to send to us, go to wktv.com/weather/pics, and that photo and every photo every morning from the entire winter season and beyond, brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Ride for Missing Children is scheduled for their 30th annual ride this year.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
The time now is 5:50, and it is time to welcome the newest member of our Morning Mug Club. Thanks to the Zaira Shriners, local families can enjoy breakfast with the Easter Bunny and an egg hunt coming up at the Rose Lawn in New York Mills. The Easter Bunny breakfast will take place at 11 a.m. on March 29th at the Rose Lawn. Tickets are $23 for adults and $13 for children. Kids under 2 can attend for free. Organizers say tickets must be purchased in advance, and there will be no sales at the door. You can get your tickets online at zairashriners.com. And if you would like to become a member of our Morning Mug Club, our contact information is right there on your screen. The Morning Mug Club is proudly brought to you each morning by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli in Yorkville.
From Central New York, Gage.
A quiet morning out there to start your day today on this final day of winter, and we begin with a look at downtown Utica right now. Generally cloudy skies, dry morning. I see a lot of those early morning commuters getting out to work early today, and temperatures hovering in the upper 20s, low 30s. Not too bad out there this morning. The radar lighting up with some snow, but keep in mind a lot of this isn't quite reaching the ground. We got a lot of dry air near the surface. So we look ahead to our Skycast today. That's really what the main story. A few stray flurries as temperatures climb above freezing in the Mohawk Valley. We could be seeing a few sprinkles. So it's elevation dependent, mainly location dependent too, on any precip you see today, whether it be snow or rain. And again, it's not a whole lot. It remains pretty dry tonight. Tomorrow there's a better shot for anything falling from the sky, whether it be rain or snow. And again, it is location dependent. Heading up to, say, Hamilton County, up in the Adirondacks, you might see some wet snow. The rest of us, well, it's mainly rain, and it'll be pretty heavy at times here. Once the warm air continues to surge north, the snow recedes up in the Adirondacks. So by 3 p.m., right on the bus ride home, those kids might need that rain jacket. It's going to be falling pretty heavy at times. Then that rain will end, and we'll see conditions quiet down, and overall a pretty quiet stretch heading into much of Saturday. A stray flurry or two and breezy conditions. Temperatures in the upper 30s, low 40s. So wind chills might make it feel a little bit cooler, but nonetheless it is still technically mild for your weekend. So you see here the rain chances, hit or miss today. A most definite shot for it tomorrow in the late morning and early afternoon before decreasing in chances as we head toward the evening and eventually Saturday. So a bit of a changing topic here, but let's talk sunrise and sunset times as we officially enter spring tomorrow. Look at the differences we'll be seeing over the next month or so. So in 1 month, our sunrise goes to 6:12. You can see the differences here in the matter of a few weeks. The sunsets as well, also a big difference here. We're going to go from a sunset of 7:12 today to a sunset of nearly 8 p.m. a month from now. So we got some big changes as officially tomorrow we see the most increase in daylight all year long. So for the next few days, we're tracking some weak disturbances, not a whole lot notably. I want to focus more on this system right here. It arrives as we head into Saturday night into Sunday, and there's some varying solutions on exactly what we're going to see with the system, whether it be rain or snow. I'm leaning more toward the rain solution, excuse me, for the second half of the weekend. But stay tuned for updates, because this is something that would make the most impact here locally, gliding along the jet stream. In the meantime, though, we look ahead beyond our first few days of spring, and it's not too bad. Yes, a little blustery, and maybe a few flurries, but either way, we're going to be seeing quieter weather for the start of next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine. We'll be right back.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And it's all quiet out there, but the radar doesn't seem like it's quiet, right?
Yeah, we have a bit of a busy viewpoint on the radar scans right now. Let's jump to it, because I want to show you guys what we mean by that. So your phones might tell you on the radar app that it's snowing out, and in some of these spots it looks like it's snowing pretty good, but keep in mind, a lot of this is elevated way above the surface. We can zoom out a little bit and see the broad area where the snow is falling, but the easy way to disprove this is just by simply looking at ground reports. I mean, aside from Rochester reporting snow, I mean, we got mostly cloudy skies. I can't rule out a stray flurry, but at least based off of the radar showing us, we don't have anything really notable going on right now. Temperatures hovering in the upper 20s, low 30s to start your day today, and so it's not too bad for your morning commute. The reason why, of course, it's not really snowing out, dry air. So despite it being a little warmer out, the air certainly feels a bit dry. South winds are influencing our weather today, which is going to bring those temperatures up a little warmer this afternoon, pushing near 40. Visibility, not too bad out there early today, and as you can see here, it's looking pretty quiet for the next several hours. Warming up, very mild for your final day of winter. And beyond this, we've got maybe a few sprinkles or flurries this evening, elevation dependent, with a better shot for rain tomorrow. A good amount of it, especially in the afternoon. We'll be tracking that, plus how we enter springtime and where we go from here when it comes to sunrise and sunset times, coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Utica police are in.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Thursday, our final day of winter here. And here's a look at what you can expect here in your forecast in a minute. And not really a whole lot today, at least weather-wise. Yes, we're tracking maybe a few sprinkles or flurries, but impact-wise, pretty much non-existent. Downtown Utica, live scene outside right now, pretty dry out there. Temperature 30 degrees with that southeast wind. The main story today, which will be driving up those temperatures up into the upper 30s to low 40s this afternoon. Dry roadways here across all of central New York, despite the radar indicating some snow falling right now. And although, at least for the time being, it stays that way, eventually the air will saturate a bit more, and we could be seeing, again, some of those stray flurries or sprinkles, which, again, will take place this afternoon. There's a much better shot for a considerable rainfall tomorrow. A stronger system moves its way in from the northwest, and we'll continue to track some of those systems arriving from the northwest because you get the right positioning and it could produce some snow, which we'll talk a bit more about shortly when it comes to the weekend's forecast. Either way, today, as you see here, cloudy skies, maybe a few flurries or sprinkles, and overall a pretty uneventful day. But we enter springtime tomorrow with rain and some more milder temperatures. We'll be tracking that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Leadership Summit has made it.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We are winding down the winter season today with a quiet day for the most part. Here's a look at downtown Utica. We've got mostly cloudy skies, dry conditions here in our camera here from the city itself. And Temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s. Not too bad out there. Despite the radar indicating widespread snow, well, not a lot of it reaching the ground due to the dry air near the surface. Despite that, eventually this rain and snow will overcome that dry air as we head toward the afternoon. So you could see a stray sprinkle or flurry, largely dependent on location. Notice here by 5 p.m. See in the Mohawk Valley and south, we're nearing 41 degrees. Up north, still hovering in the low 30s. So if you're in the Adirondacks, Old Forge, Speculator, you might see snow more than rain. But again, not a lot today, if any. Once that system passes, it does quiet down again, and it starts out pretty dry for your Friday. But Friday afternoon, we got a better shot for widespread rain. You see here by noontime, here it comes. Heavy rainfall to moderate rain, I should say. Moves its way in. Initially snow in those higher elevations, eroding over to all rain by 3 p.m., eventually exiting by 7 to 8 o'clock with a stray sprinkle or two. Temperatures in the upper 40s, so it's going to be a very mild start to your spring. Then as we enter Saturday, it's cloudy skies, stray flurries and sprinkles with temperatures in the upper 30s, low 40s, and sunshine as we head into the afternoon. We're going to have more of a north wind, though, by 6 p.m., which might cool things down a little bit. At least the wind chills should. So although on paper we're in the 40s, it might feel a little bit cooler than that. When it comes to rainfall chances, again, if you're planning things tomorrow, you see here it mainly arrives in the early afternoon. Rainfall slowly receding toward the evening. So overall, pretty damp day tomorrow, aside from the early morning hours. And on top of that, as we enter springtime, there's some big changes in the sunrise and sunset times here. Notice by a month from now, our sunrise at 6:12 in the morning and our sunset approaching 8 p.m. I think a lot of us are looking forward to that, those later evenings. Now, personally, during the weekdays, well, I'm probably already need to get to bed at that point. So maybe I'm not taking advantage of it, but I think a lot of you are, especially those late summer evenings, having some ice cream when it's still 65 degrees out. Those are the days we're looking forward to in a couple of months. Still, though, in the short-term to medium-term forecast here, we're keeping a close eye on this path here. The jet stream passes right over central New York, and it brings us multiple chances for rain and snow. This is one in particular we're watching. This arrives as we head into Sunday evening. Now, signs point to a mainly rain scenario with snow in the Adirondacks, but we're right on the fringe of it. So we'll keep a close eye on this. And again, that does arrive in the second half of the weekend, Sunday evening through Sunday night. Following that, it's in the 30s and 40s from Monday through Wednesday next week. Still looking pretty chilly, but at least no Arctic blast here for the short term. And overall, not too bad of a stretch for the first few days of spring.
Yeah.
So we could have it worse.
Yeah, let's hope that Arctic blast is a thing of the past.
Yeah, we'll push it away.
We'll see it next January.
We'll do that.
Eric, thanks. The congressional stalemate involving funding once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Get ready to head outside, and it's actually calm out this morning. Eric, the last couple of mornings we saw a lot of snow overnight.
Yeah, that's right. So finally a quiet start to your day today. Despite that, the radar showing blues, right? Well, here's a look at the radar right now. We'll see the fact that even though snowfall is taking place here, it's mainly elevated. It's not quite reaching the ground right now. We can confirm that, at least with a lot of ground reports here, with Rochester the only exception reporting snow showers right now. The rest of central New York, or rest of upstate New York in general, cloudy skies and temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s. All driven in by this dry air present in central New York, which is what's keeping that snowfall at bay. Now, as you progress throughout the day, we're going to see increased humidity. The air begins to saturate a bit more, so there is a chance of a stray flurry or sprinkle, elevation dependent, this afternoon. South winds are the big driver of the weather today, which again might not seem like much, but what it's going to do is going to bring up those temperatures up into the upper 30s, low 40s. But despite that, heading out this morning, no visibility issues, no travel issues. Should be good to go for anything you need to go to do today. Temperatures still looking pretty mild, right around average for mid-March standards. And before you know it, we're entering spring tomorrow. Our final day of winter is already here, and so far, at least, nothing very impactful. We have a look at what we'll be expecting for the first day of spring, plus the changes in daylight, sunrise and sunset times, and that weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Nearly 3 weeks into the war.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Thursday morning. It is, of course, not only Thursday, but our final day of winter. And as well as our final day of winter is our final winter photo of the day. We have on our website photos broken down by seasons. So how about this for the send-off of our winter photo season? And this is a great send-off, in my opinion. A shot of the Whiteman Farm sunrise in Clinton, sent in by Emily. And just what an incredible shot there of the vibrant sun, the sunrise, and the dark hues of the winter scene. It's been a winter to remember. A winter that we usually see, right? I mean, we usually see, at least back in the day, snowy, cold winters, and this has definitely been one of those. So thank you to everyone who's been sending in your photos for the entire winter season. We've had plenty of amazing photos to share. And now, as we enter tomorrow, we begin our spring season. So looking forward to all those spring photos over the next few months. That photo, you can send one like that to WKTV.com/weather/pics. And as always, that photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The ride for missing children is set for their
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Today we are tracking some rain and snow, but keep in mind it would be incredibly light. We take a look at downtown Utica right now. It's mostly cloudy outside early today. Traffic really picking up for that morning commute time. And again, you should have no impacts getting to work today. It's dry out, temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s. Despite the radar showing pretty decent activity, a lot of this is elevated snowfall, not quite reaching the ground. And so over the next few hours, we're going to see the lower atmosphere begin to saturate a little bit, allowing maybe a sprinkle or flurry to fall. And it's largely location and elevation dependent. We fast forward in the afternoon, 5 p.m., a sprinkle or two, mainly in the Mohawk Valley and south, and areas north, where it's still hovering in the 30s. You could see maybe a few flurries up in the Old Forge Speculator area. Now we fast forward overnight. It's looking pretty quiet, cloudy skies. Temperatures starting out in the upper 20s, low 30s. Tomorrow, though, we have a better shot for heavier rain, at least more sustained rain, and initially wet snow in the Adirondacks, which will erode as those temperatures climb into the mid-40s for a very rainy, but also more mild start to spring. Yes, it's already the end of winter time today, and before we know it, we're going to start to see those temperatures climb and everything start to bloom in the matter of a month or two. But still, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It is still March, and so we've got mud season and a few more false springs to deal with before we actually get to actual spring. Nonetheless, Saturday starts out dry, a few flurries or sprinkles the afternoon. That's basically the story of the next few days. Relatively unimpactful or less impactful weather. Time frame of this rain arriving tomorrow, mainly in the early afternoon, and of course lingering rain into the evening as well. And as we enter springtime, a couple things to mention here too. Those sunrise and sunset times, drastically different a month from now. 7:05 the sunrise today, 6:12 the sunrise a month from now. Sunset, the time today is 7:12, the sunset approaching 8 p.m. in a month. I think a lot of us looking forward to that late sunset, that's for sure. So the pattern over the next several days, the next week or so, you see these systems passing over us. They're gliding along the jet stream, and we get this northwest wind here in the upper atmosphere that guides these systems here locally. But we're closely watching this because north or south could determine if we see snow or rain. We're leaning more toward the rain side with snow in the Adirondacks, but stay tuned for updates as this arrives Sunday night or Sunday evening through Sunday night. So we have a few things to track. For now, though, we enter spring in the mild side, upper 40s. In the low 40s Saturday, still looking rather mild for much of Sunday, and then next week got more sunshine as well. So at least for now, we're in that time frame where we're in between seasons. It's not quite warm out yet, but it's also not frigid, so it's that gradual upturn, Gary. Just we're not seeing any major warmth yet.
That feeling is there, though. Spring is on its way.
It's on the horizon.
Yeah, finally. Eric, thanks. A second grade teacher in Texas is joining us, and not too bad of a day out there, but tomorrow, the first day of spring, we expect a little warmer than this.
Yeah, a little warmer tomorrow, maybe with some rain showers as well. Today, though, we've been tracking a few flurries falling across the area. Here's a look right now in downtown Utica. You might, in a glimpse here, see a flurry or two fall over the camera right now. Overall, it's been a pretty cloudy and dreary day. Now, to be fair, what you see right now is some melting taking place, so the roadways in downtown Utica appearing a bit damp out there. Still, Oneonta, a scene in the city of the hills right here, cloudy skies, temperatures still hovering in the 20s, maybe pushing 30 degrees. Yorkville Battery live radar, we have a few snow showers exiting right now. Following that, nuisance, sprinkles, and flurries, the story for the day today. Recapping again just the amounts of light precipitation we saw throughout much of the early afternoon. Officially 31 at Griffiths, 32 in Hamilton, 31 a little cooler in Johnstown, but notice out in western New York, we're already pushing the 40s out in Rochester, Buffalo, and in Dansville. And today we will be hitting the upper 30s to low 40s. Now following that, we're going to cool down a little bit tonight. Flurries end. It's mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, as we enter springtime, it's going to warm up. A little warmer than this. Plus, we're tracking widespread rain. We'll be talking a bit about that. Plus, the changes in daylight as we finally enter the spring equinox straight ahead. Gary?
A lot of pluses.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, thanks. Well, Apple.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy final day of winter, and certainly wintertime not going out with a bang. It's been pretty uneventful today. A stray flurry or two for the most part, but that's really about it. Plus, that snowfall is fading away, and if we do see any more later today, especially south of the Adirondacks, it may be closer to a few sprinkles. Either way, here's a live look in Cooperstown right now. Temperature 31 degrees on the fringe of thawing right now. Radar picking up on that snowfall, finally and slowly exiting central New York, at least the widespread light version of it. So we see today, it's quieting down. A few sprinkles this afternoon and this evening. Overnight tonight, we're going to see lows fall back down into the 20s. Now, tomorrow morning, your Friday morning, starts out pretty dry. Welcome to spring. The spring officially takes place at around 10 a.m. So following that, we officially enter the spring equinox, and then right around noontime, sure enough, we got some spring showers arriving. Initially, though, there might be a sleet line and even some wet snow in the Adirondacks, but it will eventually warm up into all rain, heavier rain at times in the mid-afternoon, while conditions slowly dry up as you approach the overnight hours. Saturday starts out with temperatures in the 30s. We got a bit of a northerly wind, so it might be a bit chillier, at least compared to what we'll be experiencing Friday. And then, of course, a few stray flurries, otherwise some sunshine peeking out in the evening. So while we enter springtime, at least tomorrow, I want to show you guys some of the brighter days ahead, pun intended. Look at this. We have at least the sunrise times going from around 7:05 today to 6:12 a month from now. So already gaining almost an entire hour there. Plus, let's fast forward to the end of the month in terms of sunsets. Look at this, almost 8 p.m. And a lot of you looking forward to near 8 p.m. sunsets, which is, in my opinion, the best part of the spring and summer season, those later days. Either way, bigger picture shows that we are in this pattern of pretty much active weather. We had the jet stream right over us. So we're going to see a few clipper systems passing through central New York. There's one we're closely watching. It's right here. This clipper is going to glide along the stationary front. As it approaches central New York, notice here, we got rain to the south, snow to the north. Look at that trajectory. It's cutting it close here. Now, for the time being, what we're looking at here is a little bit more of a rainy solution compared to a snowy solution, but we're on the fringe of it. Maybe in the Adirondacks, some of you might see some of that snow, but nonetheless, it's a good amount of snow. And if this hits some section of New York State, this corridor here could be seeing a considerable amount of it. So we'll closely watch it. Again, for now, it looks to miss us with the snow, but it's something to watch. So stay tuned for the next few days as we continue to track that. Either way, we enter the weekend, temperatures in the 40s, a little cooler on Saturday, that rainfall arriving on Sunday, and again, that temperature is all dependent on where that system lies. We have some wraparound snow heading into Monday, and then next week we're still in the 30s and 40s, but drying up a little bit, and maybe some warmer days ahead. Who knows?
Mixed bag.
Yep.
Eric, thanks. Well, brand new this noon, boil. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, not much snow today, but we've had a lot all this winter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, recapping the winter time, now that we're on our final day, Gary, here's a look at those numbers. And we're still above average, despite it being pretty quiet, at least for today. We're sitting at 26.4 inches above normal, 115.5 inches to date. And if you're wondering, well, how much of that fell in certain months? Well, I got the answer for you. We did the numbers all season long. November, even before winter hit, 18.9 inches of snow. December slammed us with 42.7 inches, another 34 on top of that. January, surprisingly, February was not that snowy in terms of accumulation, only 13.8 inches, and still 6 inches of hit or miss snow chances throughout the month of March so far. And we have, of course, one more month, April, that will have some snow chances. Our snow season usually lasts October at the earliest to April, even May at the very latest. So that's our window of snow chances. And speaking of snow, we have a few flurries falling, but temperatures are starting to climb. And that's going to cause some mixing to take place, eventually over to some sprinkles. So just watch out for a few sprinkles this afternoon. Otherwise, the rest of your winter is going to be pretty quiet. We got temperatures peaking in the upper 30s, low 40s with drier weather tonight. However, there's more rain as we head into the first day of spring tomorrow. We'll be talking a bit about that rain chance, plus how the weekend's looking, at least initially, in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A new government
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. On this final day of winter, we have a south wind pushing through central New York right now, enough to make the beautiful American flag in downtown Cooperstown flow gently in the wind. Temperature 31 degrees outside, still hovering right around the freezing point. And as we see this front push its way north and east, we've got some mixing taking place, eventually over to rainfall as we head throughout the next few hours. Now, the rain, similar to the snow today, very limited in nature. It's not going to be falling that heavily. In fact, we can see it here in our Skycast. Today, sprinkles, temperatures climbing into the upper 30s, low 40s. We're going to cool back down again tonight into the 20s with cloudy skies. However, as we head into your first day of spring, officially the equinox beginning at 10:40 tomorrow morning, we're going to see rainfall arrive within a few hours of spring officially arriving. And it's going to be pretty heavy at times, looking at 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of accumulation of rain across much of the central New York region. Wet snow in the Adirondacks proceeding to all rain by the afternoon, and only a leading edge of sleet possible in terms of mixing before it turns over again to all rain. Then we're back into the 30s by Saturday morning. It's a quiet start to the day, a little cooler. Yes, we're pushing near 40 in the afternoon, but we got a north wind and it's a pretty decent speed, so that wind chill might make things feel a little bit cooler. So just fair warning, the weekend might not be as warm as it might seem to be on paper, but either way, not too bad of a start to springtime. So while we're entering spring, another big factor here is we're now entering the equinox, which is the time period where, for one, the sun is directly over the equator, but also, two, we're entering the time period where we gain the most amount of daylight all year long in the span of 24 hours. The rate decreases as we enter the spring itself until we hit the summer solstice. For now, though, in a month, we're at 6:12, that's sunrise. How about sunset times? Look at this right here. We enter a near 8 p.m. sunset by April 19th. So we have some brighter news ahead. And as we look beyond that, throughout the next few days, weather-related, we've got some weak systems we're tracking here and there. We got that rain band moving through tomorrow, and our most notable thing we're watching right here is this snow band arriving as we head into Sunday. Why is that important? Well, it's along a stationary front, and we're on the fringe of snow and rain. If that is more snow than rain, there's a lot of snow on this band here, and it is likely missing us to the north, but we're going to keep you posted on this. We'll see how it pans out, because it'll have a high impact if it reaches sections of New York State, depending on how far north or south it goes. Still, though, in our 7-day, we have it as rain at 47 degrees. Rainfall switches over to some cooler temperatures. Backside snow Sunday into Monday. And starting next week, we're still in the 30s and 40s with a pretty average to slightly below average temperature trend. We're not warming up anytime soon in some significant ways, but at least no major cool down. So that's some good news.
Yeah, that system over Michigan there looks huge, and it's a slow mover, right?
Slow mover, it's huge, covering a large area, and that's the big thing when it comes to snowfall accumulations. That's something we're watching.
Going to watch that one. Eric, thanks. A former Virginia
Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Looking at some pretty decent weather here heading into the weekend. Rain is expected to return tomorrow, but it's not going to last into the weekend, at least the start of the weekend. So I've looked at the Arkeva Field Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We had some light snow earlier today, but things have quieted down. We even saw a little bit of sunshine over the past couple of hours, but the clouds have returned. Temperature of 40 degrees, so we are above freezing. Our weather headlines: rain arrives tomorrow afternoon. It starts out as snow in the higher elevations of the Adirondacks, but even here it switches over to rain. Mild start to the weekend. Temperatures will be in the mid-40s Saturday, and a generally unsettled weather pattern is expected with rain returning Sunday. Temperatures in general a little bit cooler than average, but we are slowly warming up, and we're slowly heading towards spring, which officially begins tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies this evening, temperatures in the 30s. We're tracking the rain for tomorrow and how much we can expect, and that's coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Cafe Canole in the village of New Hartford is celebrating 30 years and has...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. The weather turns unsettled again tomorrow. Our next weather maker will be bringing another round of precipitation, this time more rain compared to snow. It's a live look in downtown Utica. Cloudy day. We did get a little bit of sunshine over the past hour, but the clouds have swallowed up the sky again as we look to the west. We're looking at generally dry conditions heading into this evening. Our next round of rain will be taking place on Friday. Despite the cold March that we've had, at least the cold weather we've had lately, the snowdrops are out. This is a picture from Nikki and Lee. They are finding their way through the snow. We're starting to get some of those early spring flowers in bloom despite the cold weather. They're hardy too. They can withstand these cold temperatures. They're built for this. By the way, spring officially begins tomorrow. At specifically 10:46 a.m. Why that specific time? That's the exact moment where the sun's rays are directly overhead at the equator, and the sun's rays will be marching northward, and then it becomes directly over the Tropic of Cancer as we head into the first day of summer. So the days are going to continue to get longer, the sun is going to get stronger as it gets higher in the sky, and we are going to warm up at some point. The sun is undefeated. It's going to happen one way or the other. But yeah, sometimes around here it just takes a lot longer. Temperatures in the 30s today. Dolgeville 39 degrees, Westmoreland 42, Deansboro 39, across Southern Valleys 41 in Hamilton, 42 in Morris, Oneonta 37, and Cooperstown with 38 degrees. The next weather maker comes in from the northwest. It's another area of low pressure. It's another clipper. We've had a lot of these weather systems throughout the course of this winter. this one will do the same thing. Although now that we're getting into the warmer side of things, this one will produce more rain than snow. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight. Cloudy skies, overnight lows drop down into the 20s. Winds turn into the south tomorrow. Temperatures start out near 30 degrees. Cloudy skies at 8 a.m. Rain will arrive from the west, and it does start out as snow in the higher terrain of the Adirondacks. But even here, temperatures will warm up. We're looking at highs in the 40s. So it's a cold rain. Rain comes to an end as we head into Friday night. Saturday is looking dry, cloudy skies. Temperatures look to climb into the low to mid 40s. There will be some snow accumulation in the higher terrain of the Adirondacks as we head into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. An inch or two of accumulation here, but again, this stays out of the Mohawk Valley. Most of us expect to see a rainfall between about a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch, a soaking rain out of this one heading into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Mostly cloudy tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, rain. Higher elevations do see some snow on the front end, 46. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 40s over the weekend, mostly cloudy Saturday. Another cold rain Sunday, snow showers Monday, temperatures in the 30s and low 40s with some sunshine heading into early next week.
All right, Bill, thank you. On the other side of the coin, there's a heat wave peaking in the records in some cases. Reed Binion reports.
It was really hot. Today it's going to be the same.
It's hot. I'm melting right now as we speak, so it's only going to get hotter as the day goes on.
People in Southern California sweltering in triple-digit temperatures in some places amid a rare March heat wave.
The fan blows, but you have no air.
The heat also having a potential impact on agriculture in some parts of the Golden State.
It's warm, but it's not killing plants warm, right? No huge negatives right now. If this extends out a couple extra days, then all of a sudden you could be seeing problems.
The heat wave extending to other western states as well. Phoenix this week broke the record for its earliest triple-digit temperature day ever.
We should be seeing highs right around 80 degrees, but instead we're talking 20, 25 degrees above normal, getting into the 100s.
Wednesday was also the beginning of a days-long extreme heat warning for areas around Las Vegas. The National Weather Service cited dangerously hot temperatures that could reach near 30 degrees above normal for this time of year. The warning covers parts of northwest Arizona, southeast California, and southern Nevada and will remain in effect through Sunday evening. The Lake Mead National Recreation Area closed several trails due to safety concerns during the heat wave. Officials cited dangerous conditions with a high risk of heat-related illness. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
March Madness is underway. We'll show you how. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
So we're talking about temperatures that are on the rise. We're looking at a current temperature of 40 degrees. We're going to be above freezing over the next several days. So if you still have snow on the ground, the warm weather is going to be chipping away at it little by little. It's the process to get rid of the snow this time of the year. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's dry. We saw some snow showers earlier today. Looks quiet this evening. Another round of rain and a few snow showers will be arriving as we head into Friday. Temperatures are going to be on the warmer side, at least relatively, compared to the last couple of days. We've been in the 20s. We'll be in the 40s here tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, but it does get colder looking ahead to Monday and Tuesday. If you are taking the dog for a walk this evening, we could see a sprinkle here later on, but most of this evening does look dry with temperatures in the low 40s. Tonight's featured dogs, Arlo and Rudy from New York Mills. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Kristen, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. March Madness.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are tracking our next weather system that brings a cold rain to central New York as we head into Friday, also the first day of spring. A live look at Oneonta, temperature of 37 degrees. Cloudy skies have returned after a little bit of sunshine. Can't rule out a sprinkle here later this evening, but I think for the most part, it's pretty quiet weather over the next 12 hours. So live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Despite the cold March that we've had a few warm days here and there, but it's been below average here. Spring is still springing. This picture, the snow drops today coming out in Lee. This picture from Nikki. Spring officially begins tomorrow at 10:47 6 in the morning. That's when the sun's rays are directly overhead at the equator. And we get about 12 hours of daylight and darkness, although it's on paper it's 12 hours and 9 minutes. And that 9 minutes comes from refraction of light. It actually allows for a little bit more light to make it, the light bending across Earth's atmosphere, plus the way that we measure sunrise and sunset does add a few extra minutes, although it on paper would be 12 hours of daylight and darkness. Temperatures across central New York in the upper 30s to low 40s. Our sky watchers are checking in here. Our neighbors with the temperature, Whitesboro, Kirsten with 43 degrees, Mike in New Hartford 41, Barneveld 39, Eric in Inlet 31, Donna in Norway 41 degrees, Jeff in Mohawk checks in with 40. And across the southern valleys, Deb in Hartwick 38 degrees, and Carol in Worcester with 37. Small window of sunshine today, but it's been generally cloudy. The next weather system is a clipper, an area of low pressure that originates on land and it travels over the Great Lakes. A lot of times in the winter, these are big snowmakers, but we're getting out of that time of the year. This one is going to be, for most of us, an entirely rainmaker. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop into the upper 20s. It's looking dry for Friday morning's commute. But check out what happens as we head into the afternoon. This round of rain approaches from the west. It does start out as snow in the Adirondacks, but even here it turns over to rain. Temperatures will climb into the mid-40s. Rain is over with Friday evening, and we're dry heading into the start of the weekend. There will be some snow accumulation in the higher terrain of the Adirondacks as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening, but it's almost entirely confined to the hilltop locations. I'm not expecting any snow in the Mohawk Valley and southern valleys. We will see rain, though, region-wide. For most of us, it's about 3/4 of an inch, between a half an inch and 3/4 of an inch. It's a soaking rain here for Friday. Mostly cloudy tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, rain develops in the afternoon, 46. Again, some snow in the higher terrain. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast, 42 Saturday, mostly cloudy. Another round of rain Sunday. Another cold rain, 44. Snow showers Monday, 36. Temperatures in the upper 30s Tuesday, low 40s Wednesday with a return to sunshine. We'll be right back.
First look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Turned out to be a pretty decent afternoon after a cloudy day, along with a little bit of light snow, but things are looking pretty quiet out there this evening. This is a live look in downtown Utica. The clouds have returned. A few sprinkles are showing up to the west. We may have a very brief shower this evening, but I think for the most part it stays mostly cloudy. Temperatures in the upper 30s. We're tracking our next weather maker that arrives from the northwest Friday. It's another clipper. This one, though, produces more rain than snow, and it looks like it's going to be a steady soaking rain as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Mild start to the weekend. Another round of rain is expected as we head into Sunday. Temperatures will be above freezing this evening. Could see a sprinkle, but again, I think it's mostly cloudy. Again, tracking a steady rainfall for Friday, and we've got to look at that weekend forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Cafe Canole in the village of New Hartford is celebrating 30.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. The weather is going to slowly warm up as we head into the weekend. Temperatures will be in the low 40s over the next couple of days. A live look in downtown Utica. Clouds are back after a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. We had snow showers earlier today, but they didn't amount to much. We are expecting our next weather maker to arrive tomorrow afternoon. Before it gets here, there could be a couple of sprinkles here this evening. We're taking a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, very, very light showers are showing up near Syracuse. Just a brief sprinkle is possible this evening, but I think, again, the lion's share of rain will be arriving tomorrow afternoon. Spring is slowly moving forward here in central New York. The snowdrops are out. This picture from Nikki and Lee. Some of the very early spring flowers are finally emerging despite some of the cold weather and the snow, and that's very encouraging. Spring officially begins tomorrow at 10:46. That is the time where the sun's rays are directly overhead at the equator, and the days are going to continue to get longer, and the sun is going to get brighter and stronger, and eventually it's going to warm up here in central New York. Whitesboro 43 degrees, Barneveld 39. Old Forge 32, Donna, Norway 41 degrees, Stewart and Cooperstown 40, Deb in Hartwick 38. The next weather maker is a familiar friend. It's a clipper. We've had lots and lots of these throughout the course of this winter. This one's going to behave differently. Usually clippers produce snow. This one produces primarily rain, at least for the lower elevations. We're getting into the warmer part of the winter. We're looking at our Storm Tracker 2 Skycast. Cloudy skies, temperatures drop into the upper 20s. Rain is expected tomorrow, developing in the afternoon. It does start out as snow in the Adirondacks, but even here it turns over to rain. Temperatures climb into the mid-40s, so it's going to be a cold rain, but we will be well above freezing. Rain comes to an end tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night, the weather looks dry. Saturday, cloudy skies. Temperatures climb into the low to mid-40s. There will be some snow accumulation Friday afternoon along the highest terrain of the Adirondacks. An inch or two is possible. But again, it entirely stays away from the Mohawk Valley. The Mohawk Valley, Southern Valleys are expecting a cold rain and a soaking rain at that, thinking about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall region-wide. Mostly cloudy tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, rain arrives in the afternoon. Again, it does start out as snow in the higher terrain north. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Saturday looks dry, mostly cloudy, 42. Rain returns Sunday. It does end as some light snow Monday. Temperatures in the 30s and low 40s, sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Bill, thank you. Still ahead here on News Channel 2 at 6.
First look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. Now, this kind of looks something that might tell you, spring is ready to start.
It is going to find a way. Even though it's cold, even though there's snow on the ground, Nolan, this is just a reminder that the seasons are changing. This is a great picture, by the way. Nikki and Lee, the snowdrops are out. Spring is sprung in spots, and we are going to see the first day of spring tomorrow. It emerges. Whether or not it actually turns into full-fledged spring of what we think about as spring is a different story. But yes, we do have the first day of spring tomorrow. And going forward, the sun continues to get brighter. As for the weather, we are tracking a slight warm-up here over the next couple of days. It's generally quiet tonight. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Calm winds, cloudy skies. Pretty quiet conditions across the region. We're tracking rain Friday. Our next weather system arrives in the late morning to early afternoon. It does turn warmer this weekend. Next chance of rain looks to be Sunday. Cloudy skies tonight, low of 28. We're tracking the timing of this rain and how it impacts the evening commute. So look at the forecast coming up. Nolan, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New Hartford's municipal.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We are taking a live look in downtown Utica. The weather looking pretty quiet tonight. Clouds have rolled back into the region, and we are looking at a generally dry evening. We've been noticing a couple of blips on the radar, but it really hasn't been producing much, aside from maybe a sprinkle. And I think tonight is going to be mostly dry. The next weather system will be arriving tomorrow evening and into tomorrow night. And also a reminder, spring begins tomorrow. It's 10:46 a.m. Why that specific time? What's so special about that moment? Well, that's when the sun is directly overhead at the equator. And that's where we get 12 hours of daylight and darkness. And again, it's called the vernal equinox. So equinox means equal nights across the Earth. And again, it's also the halfway point between winter and summer. So we look across the region, temperatures in the state, again, in the low 30s in Griffiths and Rome. A few light snow showers, Saranac Lake, and things are looking pretty quiet across the region. Our next weather maker is this area of low pressure to the northwest. This is a very familiar type. It's called a clipper. We've had a lot of these throughout the winter. Most of the time, these are big snowmakers, but this one's not. Two reasons. Number one, it's warmer, and this is going to be more of a rainmaker. And also, the Great Lakes are colder, and we're just not getting the same setups that we did just a few weeks ago. We're getting towards spring. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast. Cloudy skies tonight. Overnight lows drop into the upper 20s. Tomorrow, it starts out dry. We do see some rain move in the afternoon. It's pretty steady, and it does come down briefly heavy at times, and it does fall as snow in the higher elevations of the Adirondacks. Tomorrow afternoon, we climb into the upper 40s. The rain comes to an end in the evening. We'll dry out heading into Friday night. Saturday, cloudy skies. We should get some breaks of sunshine late in the day. Temperatures climb into the low 40s. We do see some light snow accumulation in the higher elevations of the Adirondacks. Not much is expected here, but maybe an inch or two along some of the higher terrain. Most of us get a steady soaking rain, about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Mostly cloudy tonight, 28 tomorrow. Rain in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 40s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast, cloudy, mostly cloudy Saturday, 42. Sunday, the next round of rain arrives in the afternoon and evening, highs in the low 40s. This does switch over to snow showers Monday. Temperatures in the 30s Tuesday, partly sunny, into the 40s Wednesday and Thursday. Pretty standard stuff here, although we're a little bit colder than we typically are for this time of the year.
You know what? Is it bad that I see 30 degrees and that's technically considered warm to me?
That's the kind of winter we've had. Yeah, it's all relative, right? Yeah.
All right, Bill, thank you. Coming up next, in the midst of this is accelerating its deployment of Marines and sailors to the Middle East. Thousands more now set to deploy in the coming days. It comes amid a major escalation in attacks on oil facilities in the region. Here's Simmons reports.
Tonight, new images of Iranian gas installations consumed by fire after an Israeli strike, which, along with Iranian strikes on energy targets, have sent oil and gas prices surging. President Trump saying he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling him not to do it again.
I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. You know, we're independent, we get along great.
Tonight, Netanyahu responding,
Israel acted alone against the Slawia gas compound. Fact number 2, President Trump asked us to hold off on future attacks, and we're holding out.
And tonight, a US F-35 jet making an emergency landing after suspected enemy fire, according to an official familiar with the incident. CENTCOM saying the aircraft landed safely and the pilot is in stable condition. All as Iran unleashing more attacks on its neighbors. Debris from interceptions igniting this oil installation, Saudi Arabia said. This shelter-in-place alarm on people's phones is suddenly much more frequent here. The ever-expanding impact of this war. The Saudi foreign minister condemning Iran's attacks.
What possible military purpose can you have for attacking a refinery in a non-combatant?
Can Saudi Arabia now ever envisage an Iran that is able to threaten it with missiles and drones and is able to determine the oil price by effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz?
What little trust there was before has completely been shattered.
All as the Pentagon saying it's decimating Iran's ability to attack, with Iranian missile and drone strikes down 90%.
They would shoot a lot more if they could, but they can't.
Spanish police say the body of a missing American caller. First look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. Bill, spring has sprung a little bit, maybe?
This is a great picture. It just shows you that spring is on the way. These are snowdrops coming out of the snow. Despite the cold weather, despite the snow, spring is starting to find a way. Great picture from Nikki and Lee, and a reminder that even though the weather is still cold, the seasons are changing. Spring officially arrives tomorrow, and the question is, when will the warm weather follow? It will warm up, but it is not going to be full-on spring here anytime soon. Live look at the Eric Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look pretty quiet. Current temperature 33 degrees, cloudy skies, calm winds, increasing clouds tonight. We're tracking our next weather maker, bringing a cold rain to the region as we head into tomorrow. The weather looks warmer as we head into the weekend with more rain chances, especially by Sunday. Tonight, cloudy skies, a low of 28 degrees. We're tracking the timing of the rain tomorrow and how much we could be talking about. That's coming up. Nolan, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New Hartford's
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look outside. Downtown Utica, cloudy skies, pretty quiet conditions tonight, but things are going to change tomorrow. We have a weather system on the way that will bring a round of generally rain. It does produce some snow in some of the higher terrain north. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, things look pretty quiet. It's finally here. Tomorrow, spring officially begins at 10:46 a.m. Why that super specific time, literally down to the minute? That's the moment that the sun's rays are directly overhead at the equator. And this also marks the halfway point between the winter and the summer solstice, the darkest and the brightest days of the year. Temperatures are in the low 30s this evening. We have a few sprinkles and flurries to the west, but in general, the weather is expected to stay pretty quiet tonight. We are tracking a disturbance, this area of low pressure. This is a clipper. We have seen so many of these throughout the winter time. This one moves in. It does produce different weather. Clippers have been notorious for producing heavy snowfall, but because we're now on the fringe of the winter season, this one's going to bring rain. And it's also going to not be as cold, and also it doesn't pick up as much moisture off the Great Lakes because the Great Lakes are a lot colder. So tonight, it's cloudy. Overnight lows drop into the upper 20s. Tomorrow, it stays cloudy. The rain will be arriving in the late morning to early afternoon. It does start out as snow in the Adirondacks, but even here, it turns over to rain because temperatures are warming up. We'll be in the mid-40s here in the afternoon. Rain comes to an end tomorrow evening. We're looking at cloudy skies heading into tomorrow night. And we're in the wake of this system on Saturday. Northwest winds, cloudy skies. We could see a flurry Saturday, but I think the weather generally stays cloudy and dry. A little bit of sunshine late in the day with temperatures in the low 40s. We do expect some snow accumulation, and this is primarily north of the Mohawk Valley, the higher elevations. Could pick up an inch or two of accumulation, but this is primarily rain and a heavy rain in the lower elevations, looking at about ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall region-wide as we head into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Mostly cloudy tonight, low of 28 tomorrow. Looking at rain in the afternoon, high of 46. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 42. Rather rain is expected Sunday, especially in the afternoon, 44. Rain turns over to snow showers Monday, 36. The weather looks dry Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs will be in the upper 30s to low 40s. We'll climb into the mid to upper 40s looking ahead to Thursday. We'll be right back.
The U.S. is accelerating its deployment of Marines and sailors to the Middle East. Thousands more now set to deploy in the coming days. It comes amid a major escalation in attacks on oil facilities in the region. Keir Simmons reports.
Tonight, new images of Iranian gas installations consumed by fire after an Israeli strike, which, along with Iranian strikes on energy targets, have sent oil and gas prices surging. President Trump saying he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling him not to do it again.
I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. You know, we do, we're independent, but get along great.
Tonight, Netanyahu responding.
Israel acted alone against the Slawia gas compound. Fact number 2, President Trump asked us to hold off on future attacks, and we're holding out.
And tonight, a US F-35 jet making an emergency landing after suspected enemy fire, according to an official familiar with the incident. CENTCOM saying the aircraft landed safely and the pilot is in stable condition. All as Iran unleashing more attacks on its neighbors. Debris from interceptions igniting this oil installation, Saudi Arabia said. This shelter-in-place alarm on people's phones is suddenly much more frequent here. The ever-expanding impact of this war. The Saudi foreign minister condemning Iran's attacks.
What possible military purpose can you have for attacking a refinery in a non-combatant?
Can Saudi Arabia now ever envisage an Iran that is able to threaten it with missiles and drones and is able to determine the oil price by effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz?
What little trust there was before has completely been shattered.
All as the Pentagon saying it's decimating Iran's ability to attack, with Iranian missile and drone strikes down 90%.
They would shoot a lot more if they could, but they can't.
The U.S. Justice Department cracks down on several websites that Iran was allegedly using to spread terror-related propaganda. The DOJ in a Friday